Welcome, blessed souls. Welcome to our love, a jagged little pill reading. We're going to be doing a picker reading today, and we're going to be using the Joie de Vivre tarot deck. It's one of my favorite tarot decks. It's one of my favorite decks I've ever owned. It's really magical. It's in the black bag with the fleur-de-lis on it. The Witch's Tarot is just there just to be there because it's awesome. I don't know if we'll be called to use it, but yeah, I'm just exuberant enjoyment of life. That's what Joie de Vivre means in French. And I did Sacred Sunday earlier today. It's May 18th, 2025. I did not know this was going to happen. I was actually going to go and work on the yard and work on other things, and Spirit called me to keep going. I actually took a break and ate and rested, and now here I am. And I've been really enjoying these picker readings where I just jump into like reading one, but this one's a little different because we're going to be picking our reading by sound. By the way, I gotta take a screenshot because that's just too pretty. Oh, that's pretty. So I'm gonna explain a little bit about this reading, and then we are gonna go into the auditory. I will have timestamps below in the description box. So if you want to just go to it, if you don't want to hear anything about how this reading came to be, no worries. You go right to it. There will be 3 bell sounds for reading 1, reading 2, and reading 3. Maybe you're drawn to all 3. It's really between you and Spirit. I have no idea what they're going to be, but I can tell you this is romantic love reading, okay? I specifically asked Spirit that because love comes in all forms, but this is a very strictly romantic, between 2 people. This isn't about you may be in a throuple. I don't know, but I didn't really get that energy. But now I just got that, so maybe you are. I don't know. I don't know. There's so much magic. Can you see? By the way, look at the amethyst on top of the Witch's Tarot. There's so much magic happening right now. So how this came together is because today is my 14-year anniversary of living in the Pacific Northwest. And it's the longest I've lived away from the place I grew up. I've lived in other states, but would like move back home and then live somewhere else for so many years, and then I'd move back for a while. And so this is the longest I've been anywhere straight, like fully away from like where I grew up in the Midwest. So it's a pretty big celebration for me, and also how I got here. And I was in a love relationship, a romantic relationship, that as much as I loved him, I knew that we were not a good match. And I knew if I stayed, it would end badly. And I just didn't want to see it happen. I already saw certain things happening. And I was like, I don't want this to happen. So drink some water. Ooh, 317. Angel number. Okay, so a romantic relationship was so beautiful on so many levels, and I have been blessed to be in love like 5 times, like really in love, not just like good sex, whatever. It's like, yes, a lot of them it was that too, but I'm saying like I have really deeply loved other people besides my partner now, and I'm very blessed to have had those experiences. Because of those deep loves, it made me realize and understand how much I'm in love with my husband now. And not only is today my 14-year anniversary of being in the Pacific Northwest, but it's also 10 years ago that I met Alder. And it's kind of crazy. Just the way I called to him on a new moon, and it was the new moon in Taurus, and I still remember it. It was after my friend's birthday party, and I knew I didn't want to drink anymore. I knew I needed to change my life. I just knew all these things. I had taken Reiki earlier in the year in January, and by May, I was just realizing like I was going to have to, give up a lot, everything, basically my entire life. I realized I had to give up my entire life if I wanted to become the person I wanted to become. So I had this beautiful ritual with myself and Spirit on the new moon in Taurus, and I wrote down this person that I wanted in my life that and long story short, I met Alder 4 days later. And this weekend's always been really special to us because we met online on a Saturday night. Then we started texting on Sunday, and then we couldn't wait to meet each other, so we met on Monday. And we basically never left each other for almost 10 years, except for we had little breaks here and there. I think the longest we'd ever been apart was 6 weeks, maybe 7. And then last year, we needed a little break. I needed a break. I was feeling really drained with everything. With, those of you who know me know, my mom was dying, my familiar was dying, and Alder was gone. And it was just a very intense situation. But I really truly thought, before he left, we had this really beautiful conversation. There was this moment where Alder and Bubba and I were laying in bed together. It's a very intimate story. I don't share it all the time, but it was just this really beautiful moment. And I remember thinking in my head, what if this is the last time we're ever like this? And it was. And there's a fine line between knowing what's going to happen and bringing something into fruition. And I think right now what's happening with a lot of relationships is we're all we have to get real. I apologize for the traffic. It's Sunday at 6:30, it's springtime, and on one side of me it's really beautiful mountains, and the other side's a freeway. So give and take, right? You get the good with the bad. And I think that's a real great metaphor for relationships, and romantic relationships. They're fucking tough. Most people have a hard enough time just having a romantic relationship with themselves. All the way around, from romancing ourselves to pampering ourselves to loving ourselves, taking care of ourselves, making love to ourselves, and not having any shame around anything that we do or require or crave. We have been so confused about love on so many levels, and love has just been thrown around easy peasy, but it's a very deep, very settled emotion that has become so scattered that most people, they just don't have the clarity. By the way, I'm smelling spearmint. I'll put a link below for Sacred Sunday if you guys are interested in it. We got some really great messages from Spirit about endings and new beginnings. The title is I'm on the edge of glory, because we're getting so close. We're getting closer and closer and closer every day to where we're going to be. But right now, the Divine Masculine and the Divine Feminine are both going through a lot of shit. And a lot of the Divine Feminine has been holding the bag, so to speak, while the Divine Masculine is going through their shit. And so it's how much space can we hold? I feel like that's basically what Spirit is saying, how much space can we hold for ourselves and each other? And I feel like that's what this reading is about, because when they said it was going to be about romantic relationships, my funny little music angel, did that thing with the shuffle where they're playing all this other music, and then all of a sudden I see something that didn't play. I didn't hear it play, but it's in there. I don't know how. I didn't hear it. It skipped to another song. And it was Head Over Feet by Alanis Morissette from the album Jagged Little Pill. And then when I started putting it together, I was like, oh, and if they have me, I'll put the lyrics below for Head Over Feet, and a link to the song if you're not familiar with it. And if you're not familiar with Alanis Morissette, please, if you're going through a breakup, Jagged Little Pill will probably become your anthem. Although, even she says, she was so young, and when we're young and we're angry or whatever, and even when we're older and we're angry, right? It's we spew venom. But the truth is that it's not about that now. These kind of relationships, breakups, separations, I kind of feel like that's what a lot of this is about. Twin flame. I never claimed to be a twin flame person, but I am, and I don't mean it like that. I'm just saying it just hasn't been in my wheelhouse for readings, I guess. But now I've been really pulled to it because I'm in one, and I'm watching someone that I love so much completely turn into a version that I'm not even sure what version, But at the same time, I'm like, it's beautiful too, because I'm seeing how much they're growing and changing, and I'm excited to see like who they're going to be on the other side of this, because we've been going through it, the divine feminine, we've been going through it for decades, millennia, right? We've been going through this and taking our power back. And the divine masculine, you know, especially a lot of the men who have been raised to be men and to be, you know, whatever. And same with women, you know. One of my friends, she's married to a woman, but she's like, it's so bizarre. She goes, sometimes I'm like, why? I don't understand. Like, she's like, she's so much more masculine than any man I ever dated before her. And I was like, really? And I was like, yeah. And that just goes to show you, like, it's about what's going on inside. It's not about the outward or your sexual preference or who you fall in love with, or, you know what I mean? It's like, it's so individualized right now, and it's so beyond that. But because we've been in these little boxes, these compartments, it's been hard for a lot of relationships right now to keep moving forward without the transparency, because we're all, our job, if you found yourself here on this channel, like, we are all light workers. And you know, when you're a light worker and you're in a romantic relationship, that's a fucking slippery slope. It is not easy, and it is not for the faint of heart. Let me tell you, it is not for the faint of heart. And if you're single, you may not agree with me, but consider yourself lucky. Seriously. Because it means that you're working through some other things right now. And then when you get to that person that, you know, you're meant to be with, you will be better equipped to move forward. You know, not all of us are meant to go through these like really hardcore, heinous relationships. Some of us, like myself, I'm a teacher. It's my job. Even though I would say I don't want, you know, this, blah, 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 the lessons are going to come no matter what, because I signed on for this. It's my job. It's what I do. I go through it first so that I can, not first, like I'm the only one. I'm just saying, like, I go through things and then I speak about them, share my energy, you know what I mean? Share my experiences and my stories so other people can be like, oh, okay, you know. Also, it helps normalize us in a way. And let me clarify that. This is why I don't like to eat before readings, because I like to be more of it takes more effort to channel when I'm full, but when I'm not full, it's just so easy. It's just like effortless. But also, like right now, I had salty foods, and so I'm like wanting water. So I apologize for that. And I digress. So these separations that we're all going through right now, or some of us haven't separated, but you're going to separate, you know, probably soon. I don't know what messages are going to come through. I feel like Spirit's trying to show us that it's not a punishment. We didn't do anything wrong. You know, sometimes good people just break up. You could still be two good people that are not meant to walk any further in this lifetime together. That's it. That's it. Sometimes we're just not seeing things clearly, right? Like, look at, there's a heart. Sometimes we have to kind of, I was wondering why they haven't wanted me to put it on there like a little taxi. It's like, you know, sometimes love has to move around. Sometimes love has to have different identities. Do you want to hear something so interesting? So when we moved back into our RV, shortly after we moved in, I lost my wedding ring, and I got really upset because I was like, oh, dude. And I thought I'm like, well, it couldn't have gone far, and I just couldn't find it. And then I was like, oh gosh, it must have fallen behind this thing. And I was like, oh, we'd have to take the whole thing apart. And I was like, it's like a whole day job. And I thought, you know what? It's real. Nothing's going to happen to it. It'll be fine. And so Alder and I have not been doing well. And I spoke to him on last Tuesday, and I said, you know, do you want to do something for anniversary? I know we're not like completely, you know, together, and we're not completely apart. I'm like, but do you want to do something? And then I said to him, I'm like, you know, Saturday was the day, blah, blah, blah. And Sunday, I'm like, but the 18th is the actual day that our first date was, on that Monday. So we always considered that like our anniversary. not like the first time we met online. And I mentioned a few things that we could do that weren't like too serious or whatever, that would be fun. A local festival, a hike, a drive, something fun. And I said, well, let me know if you want to do anything. And it's Sunday, and I started like getting freaked out. Not like I shouldn't say freaked out, but I started to get sad. I was just like, oh my gosh, it's like midday Sunday, and I still haven't heard from him. And I thought, well, I'm not going to get myself worked up. There's still tomorrow. I'm like, maybe he'll just think of Monday as that. So I'm like, I'm just going to. And then this reading came into my orbit, and I was like, that makes so much sense, because I was feeling antsy in my pantsy, like I was feeling antsy, like, but I felt like I'm not the only one that's going through this. And I thought, the funny thing is usually this time is like when I'd want a reading, but I got the vibe like I really don't want a reading. It was more like I wanted to help other people go, whatever they're going through. And if there's a message in something for me, then so be it, but it was more like, that song by Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, the waiting is the hardest part. And that's what it is. Cause it's like, there's literally a part of me that knows 100% Alder and I are going to be fine. I know it. I feel it. I know it. He's my Bashert. He's the one. Not just because of all the other relationships and whatever, but there are a gazillion reasons why I know. But recently I was looking for something through my catalog of all my videos and stuff, and Spirit sent me this montage video of us, like through where your phone's like, here's you 5 years ago, blah, blah, blah. They've been doing that a lot lately. My phone has been doing that, and it's been really amazing. And I know it's me, my higher self, like Spirit, you know what I mean? Like, I know that, but it's just really still fun, in my human mind to be like, oh, look at the magic. I know it exists, but still. And when I was looking at the video, I just started to smile, and I was like, we look so happy. I'm like, we just look so doggone happy. And we are happy, and we were happy, but he's in shadow right now. He's in the dark night of the soul, and there's nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do. So I can cry and I can get upset and be like, why isn't he here? 10 years. Because I even said to him, I go, 10 years is a really big deal, because both of us had been married before, and we've both been engaged more than once, and we've both been married only once, and both all only said we would ever marry again if it was like the real right person. And so it's just kind of interesting, like the way this has all been unfolding and all the magic behind it, and also the dissension of our old relationship, like that chapter, and letting it go. And also his birthday is a week from Wednesday, and usually around this time it's either like really awesome and good, or it's not. And I've known quite a few people that are not happy around their birthday. I know people who like to be alone on their birthday. I've had birthdays where I was like, I just don't want to celebrate this year. I just don't want to be around anybody. I'm not in a bad mood. I just want to celebrate by myself, 50 plus birthdays, you start to feel like, you know what? I'm going to do what I want to do for my birthday. Sometimes, I've had one time I had a spa day, and I was like, I don't want to see anybody. And my one friend actually surprised me and took me out for lunch. And I was like, I didn't really want to do anything. I'm like, but this was perfect. Because I said, I want to be Audrey Hepburn, and I want to have pink champagne. And oh my gosh, how can I not? Yeah, did I tell you guys this? I don't know if I told you guys this, but I'm going to tell you really quickly. But anyway, long story short, because I just had a moment where, because, I lived in LA for a really long time. And at the time, he wasn't super famous yet. He was famous for being on Will and Grace, for being the funny Southern little gay man. But then he ended up becoming super famous, and his name eludes me right now. But anyway, I ended up like meeting him at the spa, and boy, I mean, talk about how my life could have taken a different turn with them. I probably could have had him as like one of my best friends. And I know that sounds weird, but we had such a cool encounter. But I digress. That's another thing. I feel like I need to write a story about that. Why can't I think of your name, beautiful soul? Like I can see him. He passed away. Remember, he got really Leslie. Leslie. What's his name? What's your name? You guys know who I'm talking about? He was on Will and Grace, and then he got really famous during COVID, and then he died. He had a heart attack in his car. Anyway, Leslie, something Leslie. Anyway, I just had an opportunity to go to their show and meet them and hang out with them the night of my birthday, and I really wanted to go. Like every fiber of my being wanted to go. I wanted my friends to go. And my friends actually like kind of made me feel bad for leaving my own party. But I was like, yeah, but I really want to go. I'm like, I just felt such a connection to them. And to be invited, they were having a one-man comedy show in West Hollywood. And we met at this spa on my birthday, and he's like, oh my gosh, you have to go have some pink champagne just like Audrey Hepburn. And I was like, yeah. I'm like, exactly. And it was just a really magical moment. And I'm sorry, I'm going down memory lane. It's my own memory. I apologize. Let's get back to the reading. But you see what I mean? Like, you never know like where your day is going to take you. So allow, it doesn't have to be your birthday to have that day, but I'm just saying, I feel like a lot of people are in repetitive modes right now and not living in the fantasy of like reality, because your reality can be a fantasy, but it's on how you make it. But if you have somebody in your romantic relationship that's holding you back from your dreams, from your aspirations, from your goals, and maybe it even is friends, because that's kind of interesting that they had me bring that up, because I haven't even thought about that story in a really long time. So I feel like that's for somebody. Like maybe did somebody like what is that? Hijack? Did somebody hijack your birthday, or is your significant other somebody who like hijacks your special moments? I don't know. It's kind of interesting because this friend of mine was like I called him my husband, right? Like my gay husband. And it was and it's funny, like looking back on it, I just realized like how much I wanted to go and how much I let other people influence me and the way that like I lived my life. And I can go back and tell you so many things that happened that way, but when I was in relationships. So with that being said, I have no idea why they had me go that way. I'm going to drink some water. We're going to talk about love, that jagged little pill. Okay, so that was so bizarre. Why can't I, when you guys, please like put their name down in the comments if you know what I'm talking about. Like really short, cute, like silver hair gay man. And it's like making me so mad that I can't think of his name right now. But it was a really, oh no, down it was 2255, which is awesome because that's essentially the number 5 when you add it together at the lowest denominator, and 5 is the number of change and transformation. We get 5 so much in this tribe. It's unbelievable. I mean, unbelievable, because we're all going through such magnificent, huge changes. Look at that. They wanted to, what's funny is that, I don't know if you guys saw, there was like something down here and I was like, it was driving me crazy, but it was the top of one of the bells. Maybe you are looking at it. I don't know. So let's go into the auditory part and where this originally came from. I know a lot of readers do this, but one of my favorite readers that does this religiously is Rosology, is the name of her channel, and her name is Hazel. I love Hazel. I don't really follow, I mean, I subscribe to her, but a lot of people, Spirit just doesn't have me look at readings the way I used to. But years ago, she was one of those people that came into my orbit when I remember when she only had a few hundred people. I remember when she only had a few thousand people. And I remember for a long time, it was just like maybe 3,000 or 4,000 people. And like, we would have little side conversations a lot. And then she started to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And now she's huge. And every once in a while, Spirit will have me like, type something and she'll be like, oh my gosh, hey girl. She's like, what's up? But she does that. She does the auditory. She does the bells. So I want to see if they want you guys to see them or just hear them. Is it in their greatest and highest good to see the bells as well? I kind of thought so too, because sometimes people will choose something because it's like the visual, you know what I mean? They're like, oh, you know, but I feel like this is because they're all so different. The bells are so different, but I feel like they want you to do it by an auditory thing. So I think for a minute, I'm just going to put this amethyst here. I'm going to put it in front of the camera. Where's the camera? Oop. I'm like trying to cover it up. You can't really see. Okay. So let me see. Oops. Is this reading 1, Spirit? Is this reading 1? So 1, 2, 3, like backwards that way. Okay. All right, you guys, you ready? And if you can do so, I would close your eyes. Just close your eyes and listen, okay? I'll let you know when it's the... Okay. This is for reading 1. Okay. And now I'm going to go over here. I'm going to drag this over here. Okay. And this is for reading 2. Okay. And this is, let me go over here. Reading 3. Reading 3. Okay, so one more time, reading 1. Reading 2. And reading 3. Okay, I will see you over at your reading, and thank you for listening to my love story, and thank you for cheering us on. I know Anna said, one of our tribe members, she said something really beautiful recently about a post about how happy we look together, and I was like, you know what, we are. It's just really heartbreaking, you know, when someone you love so much acts like you don't even exist, is like the most painful thing in the world. And I think what Spirit is trying to teach us is not to not have emotion about it. It's not about that. It's about like not letting my emotions control the outcome, because this is his story and this is what he's going through and this is what he needs to do. And it's not about me right now. He's on his journey and I'm on mine. We're all on our own journeys right now. So, ooh, look at that. The butterfly slipped in, right? We're all in our own journeys. Sorry about that. The traffic is crazy right now. Okay. All right, you guys, I'll see you over at reading. And if you would like to work with me, or if you'd like to contribute anything to this channel, all of the information is in the description box. I'll see you over at your reading. All right, blessed be. Oh, bye. Welcome, reading 1. You know, this theme, when it came together, love, the jagged little pill, I asked Spirit if we were going to have theme songs for each, you know, reading. And I'm getting the vibe that each reading is going to get an Alanis Morissette song, but I'm not sure yet. So I'm just going to kind of like keep it under wraps and see what happens. I instantly feel like I want to sneeze. And it doesn't feel like mine, which I know that sounds weird, but I've been in my house all day and everything's fine. And you know how like it feels like now it just went. So I kind of feel like either you have allergies or somebody around you has allergies, or like, could you be allergic to someone's pet or something? Like, I almost feel like because these are relationship-based readings, I feel like there's some allergy, or or somebody in the relationship has, I don't know why this is coming through, but it's so strong. So, I cannot, when I see it, I see it. I have to speak it. I know this is going to sound really fucking crazy, but you guys are like allergic to each other. So reading one, I can tell you right now, at least for this first person, like my right eye is twitching. This is not your person. This is not the right person for you. Like this is not your person. And I'm going to tell you something. I remember when I was trying desperately to hold on to my marriage, like trying desperately to hold on to my marriage. I actually was speaking about, my romantic relationship before this. If you didn't watch it, that's fine. You don't have to. But one of the things that I realized I just kind of left in the air, but I feel like it was meant to be brought here to say to you, was that my husband and I now, we both were, our first marriages were so like parallel. It was creepy, like down to like weird things where like, I'm like, wow, that's so crazy. Mine was like that too, or they did that too, or, it was just really, really bizarre. And one of the things that we had said was that neither one of us made it to 10 years. And we were kind of like, if we can make it to 10 years, like we know, like whatever. And I started to realize that I feel like the divine masculine right now is really struggling and the divine feminine is rising. And so we all have divine feminine and divine masculine in each of us, but depending on your relationship and depending on how it comes together, that could be where the off balance could be too. I almost feel like a sense of a competition in this relationship. Even like one upping. I feel a lot of insecurity coming from the masculine, so, because these are blanket relationship readings, I can't just say the man. Okay. So I'll just say, when I speak of the man and the woman, right now, I'm just going to speak of divine masculine and divine feminine. My throat chakra feels really tight. I'm getting this shooting pain coming up my back that was not there a second ago. I'm just feeling like this fibromyalgia. I'm just feeling like, the interesting thing is, I feel like some of you are in relationships where you don't even realize it, but the second you get out of this relationship, everything's going to change. Your whole body's going to change. You're going to feel better. You're not going to have any, like, there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. I'm not saying you're making up what happened to you. I've said this for a long time. I've known people with fibromyalgia, and I also know the base root of their, like, quote unquote, like, issues. And powerful light workers, anybody can do it, but definitely light workers and earth angels, we're so powerful. As powerful as we are to heal, we also are as powerful to take power away from others and from ourselves. So, we can hide behind a depression, we can hide behind anxiety, we can hide behind, illnesses of all kinds. And love, the irony is love is like the answer to everything. It's like the cure-all. But, we've been so confused by love in so many ways, from so many different cultures, from our elders. It's a very confusing place. So I feel like for you guys, I want to jump into these cards because I feel like there's some pretty heavy stuff coming through. Let's see where we're at. Oh, I just got the chills all over my body. Fuck. Okay. All right, Spirit. Reading one. What's their jagged little pill in their relationship? Because that's what I feel like this is, at least for your reading. You're the first reading. I feel like when they say love, like ... like jagged little pill. What a jagged little pill. I feel like maybe you need to see, like, what's the jagged little pill in your relationship, so I pulled it just like this, and okay, so it's upright. Okay, the Four of Wands. The Four of Wands. I wasn't sure if they wanted me to put cards in here or not. Oh, by the way, they have like little names and characters. Look at how cute they are. Hold on. Let me bring it into focus. Look at how cute. So this Four of Wands. Oh, it's Beltane, which we just had. And it's Razzle and Dazzle are her two little friends. Okay. So let's see what the Four of Wands wants to say. Oh my gosh, I'm so thirsty. I apologize. Four of Wands. This is one of my favorite books. You guys know I love to read tarot, but I'm not a tarot reader. And sometimes I don't read the book at all, but this one I almost always do because it's like one of the best written tarot books I've ever, I just love it. So the Four of Wands is vitality, growth, celebration, partnership, and stability. It says, loyal friends partake in a celebratory ceremony. Beltane holds a garland in the shape of a heart, holding up birdhouses as a blessing of the homestead. Razzle and dazzle are brimming with enthusiasm and the simple joy of being alive. It says, you've worked hard. Now it's time to celebrate and enjoy the fruits of your labor. Follow the triumph of achievement by relaxing in the company of friends and family. Well, that's interesting. So, vitality, growth, celebration, partnership, and stability. So this is interesting. Okay. What's going on here? I'm like, we have to pull more cards because okay, this one just flipped out and it was up and then flipped upside down. So I always take that very seriously. And I always like you to see the card upside down because sometimes you'll see something in there, you know, that like may have a message for you. These cards are so amazing and expressive. The artwork is just unbelievable. I don't have fancy software, so I'm trying to like get it up close, but look at her beautiful face. She was kind of sad though. She's a spider. Four of Coins. So she's Madame Dominion. I wrote the names on there because I don't always like to read the book. So I wrote the names on there in case I like that, where I'm like, what's their name again? You know? So let's hear what Madame Dominion has to say of the Four of Coins. Interesting though, that it's 3 then 4. Whenever we'll see what the next one is, because sometimes to me, it has a meaning when it does that. So 4 of Coins in reverse. Stagnation, greed, and selfishness, wasteful spending, yada, yada. Okay, so here's the whole meaning. Security, stability, prosperity, success, generosity. Always guarding her treasures, the refined Madame Dominion is financially prosperous, intent on staying in one spot in fear of losing what she has. She ponders what she might be missing out on. Focus on making the best of what you have by combining practicality with enjoyment. The universe supplies a flow of abundance, but when grasping too tightly to what you have and building walls, the flow of energies is blocked. By making sound choices, you attract prosperity into your life in a balance of spirit and matter. So, you know, but the key words to this are stagnation, greed, and selfishness, and wasteful spending. Again, I'm like I said, I'm going to, whatever comes up, I saw divine masculine. So however you identify in this relationship, I saw the divine masculine was that energy in the relationship. I almost feel like for some of you, this is the first time I got this, but I almost feel like for some of you, like this feels like a single mother with 2 children. They don't necessarily have to be twins or the same age, but like I feel like 2, you know, it could even be 2 animals or like a child and an animal, but I almost feel like this is a single mother. And I feel like this family, actually, now that I look at them, they look like 2 boys and they look older. And I kind of, this is very interesting. I feel like they're super happy now because it's just the 3 of them and not like another masculine. Like they're happier with just them. It just feels like there's less stress, if that makes any sense. That's just the reading I'm getting. Now, mind you, these are mass readings. So this, I don't know, you know, if this applies to you, but that's the energy I got from that. And even though this is meant to be like more of a feminine energy, like I said, I felt like that was the masculine. And again, it could be 2 women, right? It could be 2 women. So what's the next message, Spirit? I feel like there's at least one more message to go with this. Wow, I heard Spirit say, you kind of said it all. That's interesting. Okay. It could just be specific for... I feel like another card wants to come, but hold on. There's like this emptiness that I can't explain. It feels, I heard the word vapid, and that's not a word that's in my vocabulary. It's like a very you know, vapid is like a word you use if you're like, you know, big words, kind of like, you know, I grew up in the south side of Chicago, you know, it's like, if I said vapid, people would be like, what? Anyway, this is in reverse. Oh my goodness, here we go. This is exactly what I was feeling. The alone energy. Do you see this little snail right here? I thought that was a shackle at first. And here's like a little stream with a snake. It's the year of the snake right now. But look at this, 10 of Swords. Lament is their name. And this looked like a turtle from the side. So snail, turtle, I feel like there's so many things going on right now. Before I even get to the book, there's so many things going on. And there's even like a real faint moon in the background. Because this to me feels like a moon up here, and this feels like a halo. Like I feel like you're just like from the Dark Mirror deck, the what do they call it? The Dark Angel. That's kind of how it feels right now. I feel such a real heavy weight. That's the only way I can explain it. It feels so heavy. Let's get to this. Let's get to this. I am so sorry, my friends. I feel it too. I'm going through it. We're all going through it. That's why I said I wanted to do this reading, because I'm in a heartbreak too. Heartbreak sucks. And I feel like there's moments I'll like look at my partner, like sometimes I feel like we're connecting and things are gonna work out, and then other times they'll say something and I'm like just a fucking arrow through my heart. And the other day I was like, it hurts my feelings when you like say things like that. I was like, oh my gosh, like it's just so, it's like, who are you? You know, so maybe that's where you're going to. I don't know, because that just came up. So I always go with the reverse first. And fear of ruin, temporary good fortune, illusionary lifting of burdens. The keywords when upright: realization, renewal, inevitability, endings, and beginnings. And swords are, you know, communication. Wands are action. And coins, you know, are, you know, money, stability, earth energy. So, you know, wands could be fire signs, air signs for the swords, and it could be earth signs for Madame Dominion. So, you know, endings and beginnings, that's really powerful. And look at how they're in the middle of that. You know, now that I'm looking at it, this could also be somebody could have like a really controlling mother-in-law. And this could be like your partner and their sibling. And like you just want to be like perfect for them, but like maybe like they don't see you, or they don't, you know, I don't know. I kind of feel like, see how she almost like, even though I know the garland's over them with the heart, I almost feel like for a split second it felt like a puppet on a string. So it could be that you're dealing with, you know, or it could be a baby daddy, baby mama, you know, it could be, you know, it could be your parents' parent. Maybe you never got married, but they're, I don't know. I just, all of a sudden, I just felt this very puppeteer controlling thing coming from over there. So I don't know who that applies to. But the rest of it says, feeling at her lowest point, lament unleashes the power of sheer will to lessen the impact that turmoil brings. Kneeling by a river of new beginnings with the sword of fortitude on her lap, she summons her inner strength to find a fresh outlook. 9 swords stand far behind lament, indicating that her worries are farther from her than she realizes. If hopes and dreams seem to have turned to dust, new ones shall indeed arise. Your thoughts today create tomorrow. Move upward and onward and allow nothing to hold you back. Also, I almost feel like for some of you, like this is maybe your family or their family, and I feel like this is you in the middle where you're just like, I fucking give up. Like you're putting your sword down. You're like, I'm done fighting. I'm done doing this. I'm done with the, I'm going to change. I'm done with the, okay, I promise I won't let my mom, control me anymore. Whatever, insert your story here, because there's like all of your different stories. But like, I feel like this, and no matter who you are, I feel like the divine feminine inside of you is like, I'm done. I love me. I'm going to fucking take care of me. I'm going to look out for me. And maybe you want to be more like, the loving, surrounded by candles and a joyful path. This path's already grown. They're looking like in celebration. They got little flowers down here, and here it's like they're just starting to sprout up. And I feel like changes on the horizon. It's inevitable. My thought went to the bottom of the deck, and this is what I saw. The Lovers. Number 6. Orpheus and Eurydice. Amor and Amity. This is your outcome. Your right person is coming. And look at, they almost look the same. Do you see that? They could be almost the same person. And I know it's the same artist and they draw like whatever, but it's like a different version of you. Instead of looking sad, they're like, look at, they're like happy. They're super, hold on, I'm going to get in here. They're super content, and look at the way they're looking at each other. There's trust, there's love. There's no more deception like Dominion. I love spiders, but still spiders, they do have a reputation for being a little sneaky and that, but they have to be like that because they can only exert so much energy because they only eat so much. But it's like every predator. I was reading this thing about the great white shark, and it's like every predator has their thing of why they're a predator. And even like the person that you're with, it's like sometimes it's just the lessons. But I'm getting this vibe from spirit that your person, the right person, is going to be there. And maybe one day it will be them. I don't know. And I don't want to give you false hope because, I think sometimes in readings when people say that, I think, yeah, but then I think for some people who aren't grounded and aren't healthy in their own well-being will cling on to that one thing. You know what I mean? You could tell somebody something and no matter what you say, like they'll cling on to like the one good thing, even though you tell them like 90% of it is like, this person is shit, they did this, they did that, blah, blah, it's not good for you, blah, blah, blah. But that one thing, they're like, but they did say, they loved you. They're like, they did? They love me? And it's like, yes, but they also love spoons. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not being a dick, but it's like, some people, and I'm just saying, like, I've been that person. I mean, I laughed because that's like the, I was like, that's the analogy that came out, it's kind of funny. But it's kind of like that. Some people, especially narcissists, they're, love is such an easy word to spread around. And empaths and narcissists, the empath narcissist twin flame relationship, it's like they're a very slippery fucking slope. And a lot of people who are in a twin flame relationship, I'm not saying, because my partner and I, we can both be very narcissistic and we are both empaths. So, we were playing this game for a while and then I started to realize like, no, it's not like, oh, he's the bad guy narcissist, I'm the good guy empath. It's like, no, we're both empaths. We're both sensitive. We can both be assholes. But a lot of times, like it's when people are being that way, it's because they're afraid to love. They're afraid to open their heart. So, it's that old adage, like, don't be angry at somebody for being themselves. It's like pray for them to help them find, the root of that and like heal it. And that's kind of the energy that I'm feeling. And I feel like this is you, like where you're just like, I'm fucking drained, man. Like I don't have it in me to like keep going. And I'm with you, man. Honestly, I am with you. It's been a tough road for all of us. Nobody's like getting out of here alive, and everybody's going through some shit right now. You know what I'm saying? So let's see. Do we have any more messages? No, that was it. I feel like you already know what to do and you're either in the process or like you're at this stage where you're like, trust me, I'm working on it. And that's all that spirit wants you to do is just keep working on it, keep working on it, keep working on it, keep working on it, keep working on it. Every day, daily affirmations in the morning, at night. I've really been getting that push from Spirit lately. We spoke about that in Sacred Sunday. I'll put a link in the description box if you are interested. Sacred Sunday is it is a new, I was going to say it's a new old, but it's not really. We used to go live when it was Lula's Labyrinth. We used to have Soulful Smudge Sunday. Every Sunday we would go live, and the community, it was really awesome. And so we're doing that again, but in a different respect and in a different light. And we're all different because it was like 6 years ago. So we had our second episode today. So every Sunday moving forward until Spirit tells me not to, at noon Pacific Standard Time, the Magical Medium channel, we will be going live and working with Spirit. The first episode we had for Mother's Day, it was really awesome. We actually connected with many countries. It was awesome. Spirit had me do readings, like one-on-one readings, which I haven't done like that in a long time. It was really fun. And we spoke to India and Denmark and the United States, and it was a really cool, really powerful experience. And I think we'll do it again, but it's going to be like every Sunday is going to be different. Like today was super chill. Only a few people showed up, and it was meant to be that way. It was more of like teachings and working with Spirit on, you know, certain things we need to release and let go of now that we're on the other side of the Taurus moon. So soon we will, in real time, we will be going into the new moon in Gemini. It's going to be really powerful. So, you know, get your intentions and get grounded and talk to Spirit. And it's going to be a powerful new moon to put, you know, oh, I'm so sorry. That's going to be mine. That's going to be mine. I'm serious. I'm going to be like, Spirit, I need to go. It's only Sunday. It's the Sunday before Memorial Day weekend. Imagine what it's going to be like here. We've only been here a few months. Imagine what it's going to be like here in the summer. I was like, even if I had the windows closed and had an air conditioning going, it's no. So I know what I'm going to be doing with my new moon intention. So anyway, I wish you so much love. I don't speak of these things lightly. I share my stories to let you know that I'm going through it too. And when I'm alone, I too am tired and cry and get sad. And also I feel like I just noticed that this veil, I feel like some of you it's like a full-on divorce. And that's why it's like the veil is kind of like, I promised and cherished till death do us part. Well, you know what? Sometimes people grow apart. And also for some of us that took vows, like, you know, before we started going through this massive ascension, you know, it's like that part of us, you know, that part of you may married them or got together with them, you know, during that time, but like you're completely different people now. So now is the time to, you know, some of you, it's time to just be alone. And some of you, maybe it's just a temporary thing, you know. I don't want to put hope in anyone's heart if it's not there. But I definitely feel like for right now, it's not a good place for you, and it's time for you to move forward. All right, Spirit, do we have any more messages for reading 1 right now? Nope, that's it. All right, you guys, until next time, like I said, all of my information is in the description box. Take really good care of yourselves and each other, and love yourself first so that you can love others. I love you. Blessed be. Oh, bye. Welcome, reading 2. I just realized that Spirit wanted me to ring the bell for the readings, but reading 1, it's like I didn't even, so that's kind of interesting. And when I was ringing the bell, I felt like that was all that was needed. So it's kind of interesting. So if you're ready, I'm going to ring your bell. Okay. I'm going to ring your bell. Ring your bell. Sorry, I had to. I'm in my 50s. All right. Okay. We're clearing the energy. There we go. All right. Ooh, okay. I can see you guys in there. I can see me in there. But I kind of feel like there are like energies and entities here. So welcome, reading 2. So what messages do we have for reading 2? Okay, reading 2. So the theme of this reading was love, ... What a jagged little pill. And I think that's what's been so hard right now is the, you know, What the world needs now is love, sweet love, that kind of energy, because the more we are pushing, I should say, the more they're pushing at us, the harder we have to push back in like the love department. I literally just heard the Love Boat theme. So that's good. Oh, is that okay? Let's see what's going on with you guys. Reading too, Love Boat theme. I saw recently that there's a new show. It's not Love Boat, but it's something like that. It's like Dr. Odyssey or something. I don't know. And it's with Pacey from Dawson's Creek. What's his name? Joshua Jackson. Oh my gosh. I'm like, he's so cute. Anyway, so here are your cards. They're just like this, but I feel like they want to be kind of like that. But I just heard the Love Boat. Okay, interesting. So when I first got this deck, I loved it so much, but it wasn't your traditional tarot deck. So I wanted to, I thought I'm going to use this deck to learn. So on certain cards, I wrote whatever I was drawn to write from the book, but then also like to know what it is. So the fact that this is Gemini tells me that you're a Gemini or you're dealing with a Gemini, and this one doesn't have anything. So I'm going to turn this over. So Gemini is the Lover's card if you don't know tarot. So that's really interesting because I asked Spirit, like, you know, what a jagged little pill. It feels so good swimming in your stomach, right? So these are the lovers, and their names are Orpheus and Eurydice, and Amor and Amity are their little creatures that they are riding on. Interesting, like the bird has a letter. I saw it, this came up in the first reading too. I saw that in there, but they didn't have me speak about it. But this reading, I feel like they want me, I feel like that's going to have some significance. So let's just kind of like leave that there for a second. And I wanted to go to the book, but I'm really drawn to turn this over first. Knight of Cups. So we have Zeal is the name of their little friend. And their name is, oh my gosh, I can't even read my own writing. Well, let's go to the book. Maybe that's why. But I feel like we need to get a close-up of the card. So I'm feeling a divine feminine masculine balance in this card, but that doesn't mean anything. I was saying at the beginning of this that when I speak of, I'm not going to use like man or woman, because I feel like we have so many different identified energies in our tribe that I never want to just say, oh, it's this or that. So when I say feminine or masculine, that is for you to take it as you like. But in this, I feel a very strong balance of divine feminine and masculine. I'm feeling a very strong balance of love between these two people. And I'm feeling like this is a masculine energy. So let's read the book, and there's more that's coming through, but I really, really feel that I want to read from the book first, because they always have little pearls. I love this book. I speak of it all the time. The thing I love the most about it is it's so tiny. It's like the tiniest, daintiest, like one of these tiny little books. I've been challenging myself to read without glasses, you guys. I've been able to read little print like this. It's been working. I've been eating lots of carrots. It really does work to eat natural stuff. Okay, so keywords: communication, choice, love, trust, and passion. It says a pair of lovers named Orpheus and Eurydice interesting. Ride their spirited animal companions, Amor and Amity. Their mutual trust gives them the strength and confidence to continue their journey together, despite any barriers that may come their way. A letter-carrying bird flies overhead, signifying the importance of communication and the establishment of bonds. Didn't I not say? I said I had a feeling that was going to be important. So it says, celebrate the loving spirit and passion within yourself, and you'll be in touch with the universal power of love. Mutual trust and communication in a relationship bring the confidence needed to overcome any obstacles. Your soul knows when it has found something it requires. Have assurance in your heart and core values to help guide you to the right path. Stay true to yourself. So I always like to read the upright and the reverse. And in this one, I wanted to read the reverse because it says inner conflicts, an unbalanced relationship, and lack of trust. So I am feeling like you guys are fine and you're going to be fine. It's just that right now, there's so much going on the planet right now, and most people don't even know how to fucking take care of themselves. And that's just the truth, myself included. Each day I struggle. Each day I've been having to say, I love myself. I love the world. I have to work really hard to change my energy. I have to work really hard to say, I'm not going to let depression take me over today. As empaths, we pick up energy, we pick up emotions from others. And which this is what it feels like, that you're in a very balanced, the irony is your relationship is actually very balanced. In fact, when I was talking about whether we are in relationship with twin flames or not, this feels very much like a twin flame relationship, this reading. That it's a very balanced, it's kind of funny because when this started, I'm like, is this for me? Because my partner is a triple Gemini and his moon's in Sag, and I'm a triple Sag and my moon's in Scorpio. And this time of year, and my time of year, like when it's like the moon's in Sag and, Gemini, you know what I'm saying? It's like when we're in reverse and we're in Sagittarius season, we tend to kind of have a really interesting thing. It either goes really well or it seems to just all fucking go to shit. I don't know what it is, but I think that's what they're trying to tell us, that that's what real love is. It's the balance. It's about that you're going to have the roller coaster of being human. It's about riding out the good times and the bad times together, right? Like riding it out together. I even feel like for some of you, like maybe that's something you should do together, like take horseback riding, or, I don't like to promote motorcycles because, I know it's a dangerous sport, but so is horseback riding. But I just feel like something like that, or like maybe you guys need to go on more drives together or more adventures. But I'm definitely feeling like this adventure energy, because when I see this over here, the Knight of Cups, I feel like this is what's kind of, did you notice how it was in shadow and now they're having me kind of turn it to the light? I feel like that's what's happening, because the divine masculine and all of us is in its shadow. All of us, right? So I'm not saying our feminine can't be in the shadow. Of course it is. But I'm saying, like, right now, the divine masculine energy, the patriarchal energy is crumbling. So the divine masculine is kind of like reinventing itself, basically. And all it's really doing is coming back to balance, because it has been, it's been way tilted in the wrong direction. It's just been more masculine than divine feminine for a really long time. And that is what has been like uprooting the energy. So it doesn't matter how old you are or how old your partner is, but I feel like they may come from that energy, or maybe they're in a confused time right now where they're not sure, not about their sexuality, but like they're not sure like where they stand. And it's also confusing to some men right now in the divine masculine energy, that were raised to, that they shouldn't feel, or they shouldn't cry, or, that it makes you weak, it makes you a pussy, like, all these things. And it's like, I remember one of my shamans said to me, "Oh, that makes me so mad." And I said, "Why?" And she goes, "No, this is her." And if you knew her, to hear these words come out of her mouth the way they did, it was just so funny. She was just like, "I just, maybe I'm old school." She's like, "But I just, pussy, cunt, those are beautiful things. I always loved those names. I always thought they were kind of fun, like little secret names." She goes, "And then they made them ugly, and they made them blah, blah, blah." And it was so funny. And I was like, yeah, it's true. I mean, I was watching this old British movie, and it was like the way that in his Cockney, he's like, "Yeah, you cunt," and he was just like, and I was like, oh yeah, it's like, but it's the same thing. We say dick or prick or cock or whatever, I mean, and they're just words, but also there's, to see what I mean? It's like, there's just so much emotion behind things, and a lot of things are changing and evolving and growing. And some people don't know whether to fucking, wind their ass or scratch their watch, that old Dolly Parton phrase, you know what I mean? Like, they don't know what to do. They're like, everybody's kind of in a fucking panic, shell shock. Are we going into another world war? What's going to happen? So much is happening. So it's up to us to keep the divine feminine going. And it's hard for some of us, like myself. 70% of my chart is masculine. Most of my chart is fire, and most of my chart is Sag. You know, and air and fire, he's mostly, and his moon's in fire, right? So we can tend to rile each other up, and it can get really awesome and sexy and fun, or it can get really like out of control. And communication is a really difficult thing for some people. And if you're not communicating, then you're not going to be able to get that balance in your relationship that you need. So let's see what messages we have from the Knight of Cups. I don't know for sure if this is my reading, but I feel like it might be. I mean, it's all of our reading, but I'm saying, like, when I do these, sometimes when I do these, at the end, I'll be like, are any of those for me? They're like, no. I'm like, I didn't think so. I didn't feel any connection. And sometimes I'll feel like, you know, in a reading, I'll be like, oh, that's good. You know, that's good advice for me, but it's not like my reading. But this one, there's like signs that it feels like it is, and I'm hopeful, but you know, life is life. Okay. So the Knight of Cups. So in the reverse, it says being controlled by emotions, trickery, and jumping to conclusions. In upright, passion, vision, confidence, energy, and change. So, right. So if they've got those two energies that they're trying to balance out, it's very easy. What did you say, Spirit? I feel like they wanted me to see something. Oh, just how happy that little fish is that they're riding, their little fish companion. And they looked sad and depressed, and now they look happy. Because when it initially was like in shadow, I saw the face totally different. And now they wanted me to like look at the card for a minute, and I see what they're saying. So let's just say, okay, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 words in the upright, and there are 3 in the reverse. So passion, vision, confidence, energy, and change. So if we're in a high vibration, the passion is there. We have the vision, we have the confidence, we have the good energy. We want change. We welcome change, right? They're like, yay, something new. How exciting, right? But when we're feeling, you know, shadow and dark energy, we're being controlled by those emotions too much. Now, sometimes you can have too much passion, meaning like if you're with somebody who just really genuinely does not like certain things, you can try all you want, but until they're ready to actually like do it, it's just going to push them away, and it's going to make things uncomfortable in your relationship. I don't know who this is for, but I feel like I just got a Sheldon Cooper and like Amy Farrah Fowler from like The Big Bang Theory. If you've never seen it, watch the show. You will thank me for it. Binge watch it. You will thank me for it. It's so good. It really, really starts to go on fire by season 3, but it's really good all the way around. But I definitely feel that, right? Like we're like some people, you know, Amy wants to be a certain way, and Sheldon's like, I don't like to be touched. I don't like to, you know, blah, blah, blah. You know, but I also feel like for some people, it's a way of hiding, because I've also been in relationships where they're like that when we get together, and then they open up to me, and then they start to get more, they love it and they actually enjoy it. But then that starts to scare some people, and then they shy away because they're not ready for it. So it could just be that like wherever you are, and sorry, did you hear that? That was weird. I'm having a mouse issue. They don't normally come out during the day, but I think they've been a little desperate lately because they have no clean water or food in here. I've been trying to like, I don't want more to come in, but I also like want them to get out. So I think they're coming in and coming out in a place I can't see, but they got ballsy and came out one time during the day. So I just wanted to make sure that they weren't getting into something they shouldn't. Okay. It also could be a sign from spirit for you. Like maybe it's like a time to like, maybe it was for you to like kind of go off and trail in your own thought. Do you do that? I do that when I'm watching readings. Like all of a sudden it's like it's like peanuts, like Charlie Brown's like wah wah wah. And whenever that does, I feel like then it's not your medicine. You're meant to go into your head, into that space right now. So wherever your brain went for that split second, that was meant to be for you to kind of like connect to like your own story and that medicine. Okay. So here's the rest of the card. It says intrigue. That's their name, intrigue. The pen ran at the bottom. That's why I couldn't see it. Intrigue and zeal. Okay. Intrigue, the passionate and poetic Knight of Cups, is the messenger of ideas and opportunities. Riding a fish named Zeal, he chases a cup. From the cup emerges a bird carrying a scroll of intrigue's latest poem. As a dreamer, he's prone to flights of fancy, but his overriding passion for achievement sets him into action towards turning dreams into reality. Seek challenges that inspire you to unleash your creativity and passion. A new opportunity can help you branch out into new ventures. By blending unlimited imagination with sheer logic, you'll be in the driver's seat and making your dreams come true. And I just heard Spirit say in no time. So the deck was kind of like open, and this was the one card I saw, the Knight of Wands, which is good because Blaze, I feel like, you know, because cups are about like the emotion and heart, and wands are about action. And I feel like let them continue on their path. You continue, like, keep this in mind, keep the love story going because it is going to be there. And, you know, sometimes things have to get worse before they get better. So, you know, if it's like, you're like, I need to go on my own for a while, or I need to, you know, blah, blah, blah. I'm not breaking up with you. I just need, you know, I think you need some time too. I think, you know, I did that last year. That was one of the most heartbreaking things, is that I really thought that he'd leave for like a few weeks, a month tops, and like come back. I thought we'd both have some time off because we needed a break. And now they've been gone for almost for like shit, like 11, almost 11 months, 10 months, a little over 10 months. And I remember that when they were leaving, they said, promise me like that you'll bring me back. Promise me that you'll, like, you know, kind of like fight for me kind of energy. Like, and I said, well, I can't, like, you have to know what you need and who you are. I'm like, I can't tell you who you are. And over the last 10 months, like, I've seen them go through all different like versions and interesting like tops and turvy turns and stuff. And I think when they're done, they're going to probably write a book because they're an amazing writer. And that's another reason why I was like, oh, that's so funny, the poet thing. That's what led me to my partner. So maybe you have somebody who's a poet, maybe you're the poet, maybe you're a writer, they're a writer. But I just feel like, yeah, it's definitely time to connect to your higher self and let them find their inner like love. Oh, look at that. Look at that. 2 of Wands. Did I not just say this is, I mean, this couldn't be more divine feminine energy. I feel like this wants to go here. Sorry. And it's not to cover it like it's a bad thing. I feel like they want it. Look at that. 10 of Wands, wonder and muse. Look at that. Is that an octopus? I love the creatures in this deck. I just absolutely love them. Also, this quartz crystal wanted to come over here, and I understand why now, because it's so magical. She's so magical. But look at, I can make her stand up, but she doesn't want to. I feel like this is what's been going on with you guys, but that makes sense because I feel this very tired energy, you know, and I feel for you because it's exhausting. It's absolutely positively exhausting being like the higher energy like all the time. Also, this was at the bottom of the deck, the Queen of Coins. And I'm getting that it's time for you to go and make your money. It's time for you. Look at this. Sumptuous and cherish. Work with the rabbit energy. Whenever I see certain animals in here, I always say work with that energy. But this is where you're like, this is where you're headed. You may even be, this isn't for everybody, but you may even be in a relationship where the person you're with, this threatens them. And maybe like Glinda the Good Witch, you know, like Galinda, like, you know, maybe you have people who like put you up on a pedestal and you're like, yeah, but I'm good and bad. Like, I like, don't just, you know, put me in this or that. Like you're like, I'm light and I'm shadow. I almost feel like for some of you, like, you have to wear masks just to like keep the peace in your relationship. And that's very stressful. That's draining too. So the keywords are reflection, intuition, discovery, imagination, and preparation. Holding a miniature globe in her hand, Muse taps into her intuition for clarity before embarking on a new adventure. She and her owl companion, Wonder, reflect on past efforts. Moon and sun wands on either side of her connect polarized energy, which, by the way, I was born on a Monday, a moon day, and my partner was born on a Sunday, a Sunday. As I'm saying, this feels like a very much a twin flame relationship. I feel like, yeah, this is the sun and the moon, right? Like you can't have one without the other. We need both of them to exist. So it says the world is yours to discover. Your hard work and creative powers are setting ideas into action. Step back and allow the world you've conjured for yourself to spread its wings. By aligning yourself to the harmony of the universe, the achievement of your dreams is far more possible. Something beneficial will come to fruition. Now, the reverse is losing momentum after a good start, short-sighted goals, and lack of direction. And right away, I got that it's this relationship. It's like, I feel like you're spending too much time on this energy, and Spirit's like, but the second you stop spending time on this energy and focus on your story and your energy, they're gonna, like, it's gonna switch and it's gonna be like this. And you're going to find your way back to each other. And you're going to be a lot more chill. That's why I kept wanting to go down. Because they're like, you're going to be a lot more chill. And they're going to be coming to you with gifts. And they're like, oh my gosh, I totally get it now. Like, I understand, blah, blah, blah. This is the thing. The Tom Petty song, The Waiting is the Hardest Part, was like, I kept getting that. Like, the waiting is the hardest part. So for now, instead of waiting for them to change or waiting for them to like come into who they are, they're like, work on you, focus on you, and then everything will align. For some of you, it could be a short time. For some of you, it could be a long time. Let me see if Spirit, Spirit, are there any timelines that I don't normally do this, but because we are in tarot, are there any timelines? This was in reverse. So we have the Seven of Swords, tomfoolery. That was like, for me, that's what they're saying. Like, that's the tomfoolery of it. Trying to think you can predict it. That's the tomfoolery. I love them. I love spirits so much sometimes that I literally like can't take it. Because it's so fucking true, right? That's our ego. That's our shadow. That's like, but I want to know, when's it going to happen? I've always, I don't want to say always, but in the past, I've been known to, I'm like, I'm cool. I can do it for X amount of time. I can do it for whatever. If I know that the outcome is going to be X, Y, and Z, I can keep going. But it's the not knowing that drives me crazy. And that is the controlling part that they want us to let go of, that they were talking about. It's our control over the situation too. We have to stop trying to control the outcome of this relationship and just go with the flow of it right now. Recently, I found myself saying things like, you know, if it was the end of the world and like whatever, I'm like, would you come and get me? Would you? I'm like, I found myself asking these like, and then later when I was like a little more rational, I was like, what is it when I get in their presence? I feel like a crazy person. Like, I'm just like, I need. And I'm like, that's because they're helping me work through abandonment, attachment, all of these things of when I was younger from the divine masculine that wasn't there for me. And there was a lot of runners in my family, people who didn't, and they were mostly a lot of men who didn't want to deal with things or didn't whatever. And so, and I being more divine masculine was like that too. You know, I literally have a gypsy on my arm. I've moved over 30 times, lived in 5 states, traveled extensively, you know, outside of the US. And, you know, one thing for sure is everywhere I go, I will be there. So I had to learn early on, because that was told to me by so many people. You know, they're like, you can't run away from yourself. And I realized it's like, I wasn't running away. I was running away from myself, but I was running away from the person that I thought I was supposed to be, instead of just being the person that I was born to be and brought here to be. And the more I focus on my purpose, the more I started to see that like a lot of people in my life were getting, and I don't like to use this word, but like jealous and or just like angry. It's like all of a sudden when I wasn't the elaborate fuck up that I was for most of my life, all of a sudden it was just like, oh, wow, maybe what they're saying makes sense, or no, that means I have to look at myself, right? And I became a big mirror, and I felt like I couldn't be around anybody. I mean, I spend so much time alone, it's not even funny. And my partner and I were so similar that I didn't realize until recently that us being apart this long, it's actually kind of regressed him, because that's what we bring to each other. Like he helps me work through my shadow, and I help him, like basically I light his fire, so to speak, for his love and his, because when we're together I'm like, hey, and I'm like loving and smoochy, and I want to cook for him and baby him and take care of him and love him, and not baby him like he's my child, but baby him like he's my baby. You know what I mean? Like I want to like show him my love. Like our love language is food and nature, and you know. And so I said to him the other day, I go, do you realize that we haven't done anything? I go, besides my birthday, Baba's death day, and this one day we went on an adventure to get some stuff for Baba. I said, those are the only three things we've done in 10 months together. Everything else has been going to the grocery store, going to take showers, going to get water, for we live off grid, you know. Well, he's not really ever here, but his stuff is here, in storage here. But, you know, and then recently, like his car has been like falling apart. And then he was, working with a weed eater, and a fucking rock got stuck in it and smashed his back window of his vehicle. And I've been saying for a long time, I'm like, I feel like you're meant to get rid of that car, man. The friend that we got it from got in an accident in it, and then we like took it because it was still good. It just needed, you know, some body work and new things or whatever, and a new radiator. But they, you know, they got an accident in it, and then my partner almost died in it. And I said, he's like, yeah, but it also saved my life. I'm like, yeah, but you also like, you tried to die in it. And it, you know, it's like they were going through such a tough time, and it was just so much. And I told him, I go, I feel like you have to get rid of that car. Just get rid of that car. It's like Christine, like, you know, that fucking movie, Christine. I swear to God, it's weird. I can't explain it. And so when that happened, I was like, dude, in a week, he had two major things, like two handles broke off the doors. I mean, it was just weird, you know? And I said, you know, it's time. And enough of the tomfoolery, enough of the running away, right? But swords are air signs. So, you know, that's also Gemini, Aquarius, and Libra. So you may be dealing with that. But I feel like the swords are, look at them, like looking behind their back. I think you're also dealing with somebody who's been very hurt and very damaged, a very sensitive soul. I mean, all the air signs I know are really sensitive. I mean, most of the signs have like some, you know, I mean, cancers can be sensitive, but yeah, I'm not feeling any more. I will say this though, here's two that were on the bottom of the deck. So we have Mentor, the Hierophant, number 5. That's a great card. I feel like this is you with the key and the book. I'm telling you, for some of you, the key to your success is writing. It's either songwriting, it's writing scripts, movies, books, something. I'm feeling like a real strong creative energy. And look at this one wants to come out. What's this one? The Two of Swords. Oh, another sword card. Oh my gosh, look at that, protecting themselves. What's going on? Yeah, but I feel like also for some of you, it's time to get a mentor. You know, we spoke about this in reading 1, and if you aren't aware of it, I started a new series. Spirit called me to start a new series called Sacred Sunday. So we'll be meeting every Sunday on this channel at noon Pacific Standard Time. It's going to be different every week, whatever Spirit wants us to work with, whatever medicine. But, you know, maybe that's what they're telling you to work with it, because, you know, we'll be doing, it's channeling. That's basically what I'll be doing. Of course, I bring in my own insight and my own experiences, but more mostly challenging. Channeling. So this was on the other, like the deck kind of like broke in half, and this was on the other bottom, and this was from reading 1. So if you were drawn to reading 1, you may want to go and look at that, because sometimes we're drawn to readings because like the bells. That's why they didn't want you to see the bells. They just wanted you to hear the bells. But you may have heard the bell, and because I'm just going to say this right now, reading, if you have any doubts, if you are drawn to reading 1 and you have any doubts of whether or not this person is your twin flame, most likely they're not, and go watch reading 1, because I feel like they had me pull that card out for a reason. And sometimes, that's what I said, it's a slippery slope. Sometimes a narcissist empath relationship can mirror a twin flame relationship, and that's why it was created that way for a reason. A true twin flame is someone who challenges you. A true twin flame is somebody who, well, you know what? I'm not going to go through that, because I feel like it's going to be different with all of us. But basically, all I can say is I've been in a lot of relationships that back then, knowing what I know now and what I didn't know back then, I would have easily told you that at least 5 of my relationships were twin flames. And in a way, I probably was right. But the truth is, they were probably just soulmates, from other lifetimes, other experiences, yada, yada, yada. But a twin flame is somebody who is literally like, it's like the other side of you. And that is why it's such a beautiful relationship, because you challenge each other every step of the way, become the best version of yourself. It's like having a built-in teacher in your life, a mentor. So if you were drawn to reading 1, you may not be in a twin flame relationship. And maybe it's just time for you to work on your own. The Queen of Coins, make your own money. Be on your own until you find the right, until you find that right person. I watch a lot of these love movies, these, Hallmark movies and made-for-TV movies and stuff. And I know people tease me, but when I watch them, a lot of times I'm like, that's what a lot of these relationships are. They're more like a true twin flame. Not like, oh, they're my soulmate. We love to do everything together. Everything's perfect. My grandmother, my mom used to tell a story, and it's one of my favorite ones. And I'm going to leave you with this. My mom and my grandma used to be on a bowling league, and they went every Wednesday. Now, mind you, this is like the 70s, right? And, it's like there were women who did lunch, liquid lunch, whatever. And then there were the moms who bowled. And before I went to school, or if I had the day off, I would go bowling with my mom and my grandma. But they were smart. They did it on Wednesdays, because most of the time parent-teacher conferences were like around the weekend, or like Thursday or something, but rarely on Wednesdays. So my mom, was like, we're going to do the Wednesday league, so that, because that was like their time to themselves. So there was this lady on the league, and, it's a bunch of different teams, but you get to know each other. And my mom said there was this one lady that used to just kind of like, everything was perfect. Her life was perfect. And it just used to burn my grandma's butter. She just couldn't take it. So finally, one day they were bowling, and somebody commented, she was taking her ring off because she was going, and she kind of made a spectacle out of it, like taking her ring off to go get her bowling ball. And because she's going to put her fingers in, right? She doesn't want to hurt herself. And she's going to put it in her pocket. And she's like, oh, I have to be careful. She's like, did I show you guys the ring that I got, from, Greg for our anniversary or whatever? And everyone's like oohing and eyeing over it. It's this beautiful emerald. My mom's like, everyone was like, wow, it's so beautiful. And she's like, yeah, she's like, we just had the best marriage. And everyone's like, oh, you're so lucky, Tabitha, whatever her name was, which is so witchy. So it's kind of funny to use that. But, they're just like, oh, you're so great. You're so lucky. You're so blessed. And she goes, yeah, we've never had a fight. And all of our, whatever, let's just say 10, 15 years together, she's like, we've never had an argument. And my grandma just couldn't help herself. And she goes, never? You've never had an argument. You've never had a disagreement. She goes, nope. We're just really, really lucky, I guess. We're just really blessed. And, this whole thing. And my grandma looks at her and she goes, no. She goes, actually, one of you is absolutely unnecessary. I love my grandma. I'm like, she did not. My mom's like, yes, she did. And she was like, everyone was like, oh, like, Sue, that was so mean. Like, why would you say that? And she's like, because, like, what's the point? You know, it's not supposed to be utopia. Like, you're gonna fight. Like, if you always get along all the time, she's like, isn't that boring? You know, and I totally understand what my grandma was saying. She was just like, if you're not challenging each other, if you're just like staying the same in your little perfect little fucking idyllic, your little Glinda the Good Witch bubble where everything's perfect and you just tell each other, oh, you're perfect. No, you're perfect. No, you're perfect. You know what I mean? It's like, that's not reality. I mean, as we saw, you know, in Wicked, where it's like the perfect guy, it's the same thing. The perfect guy wasn't really in love with the perfect girl. He was in love with the imperfect girl who spoke her mind, who had something to say, who stood up for the rights of others. You know, so it could be something like that too. That kind of went sideways. So I don't know who that was for, but I definitely feel like that was for somebody. Okay, so do we have any more messages? Ooh, okay. This one like flung out. 9 of Swords. Whoa. Wow, look at that. Oh. Whoa. I almost feel like this is because when you look at these two, they look really happy, like they're coming towards each other. You know what I mean? And they're like, look at me. Look at my magic. Look what I found. Look at what I found. They're like, yay. And then they can't wait to show it to each other, right? But in the meantime, it's like, I feel like you've got woe and tomfoolery. So I feel like you're sitting in your shadow of sadness and like in your divine masculine, and they're like sitting and like they're like running away from their sadness. They've got all of these wounds, childhood wounds, adult wounds. You know what I mean? It's going to be different for everybody's story. But I feel like this soul is like super tragically wounded, but like running away. Look at, they got their blankie, like now somebody even got them, and they're like, oh, I have to run. They're coming to get me, and like I feel like you're over here and you don't know what to do because like you want to be in the light and you want to be there to help them, but you don't know how to help them. And they're like, but neither one of you can really help each other right now when you're in your own little like mystery bubble of woe, right? And tomfoolery. Because the tomfoolery is not accepting like their magic, right? Like they're not accepting like who they are. They're not even going to have me like read the card because I feel like you get the point. So any more messages? I felt like there was one more. Did one fall? Okay. Do we have any more messages for reading two? Nothing from the card. Let's see if there's any. Do we have any more other? Oh God, you scared me. Look at this. You want to come on my hand? Do you want to come on to the reading? I'd be grateful if you did. I'll put you outside after. Come on. You want to go on my finger? So look at this. This ant, this huge ant just came into the picture. I want you to work with ant spirit medicine, but ants are all about community and working together. So I feel like for some of you, you're going to do what you're going to do. Everything is going to work out exactly as it's meant to work out. Even like this little ant, after I finish this up, I'm going to put him outside. But for now, I'm going to let him get some good juju from the crystals. So those are your messages. I don't feel like there's anything else. So check out the description box for any other readings that are meant to come your way, and look out for Sacred Sundays if you can make it. Every Sunday at noon Pacific Standard Time, we will be going live, and the first session we did live readings. People were asking questions, and today we just did, kind of like for the tribe kind of thing. So, yeah. And then also in a few days, I'll be doing the third quarter moon reading. So look out for that. So thank you for subscribing and liking. And thank you so much for anything that you can contribute. There are ways to contribute in the description box, from prayers to cards to cashola, whatever's in your wheelhouse to do. So look at that ant. Look at, they're going to get some. And there's so many cool. I was wondering, I actually kind of left them on there because I was curious to see which. Oh, look at them. They're so cool. Thank you for your spirit medicine. That's so awesome. I was curious to see which ones they would climb on. So that is a fire agate, which is interesting. So I feel like we've got some fire signs here too. And also spirit, I'm hearing from spirit and from them is that you don't have to go so fast. Take it slow, take it slow, take it slow, right? Take it easy, take it slow. You're going to get there. You're going to get to the place that you need to be. But for now, take it one breath, one step, one moment at a time. All right, you guys, until next time, take good care of yourselves and each other and love yourself first so that you can love others. Okay? I love you so much. Blessed be. Oh, bye. Welcome, reading 3. If you chose reading 3 or you chose from this bell, I'm clearing the air from reading 2. You know what's funny is I didn't, oh shit, sorry you guys. So sorry, so sorry, so sorry, especially if you have headphones on. I'm so sorry. I didn't show the other bells, but I was really drawn to show yours. So I feel like I almost want to put it over here. That's where I had it when I started. It's like a really old, I have a lot of old brass bells. They come into my life a lot. Okay, so as we said in the intro and the title you saw, it's love, ... What a jagged little pill. So what messages do we have for reading 3 concerning their romantic relationship? What is going on with reading 3's romantic relationship? What's the jagged little pill? This card would not like go, it just needed to be seen. So it's in reverse and wowie, wowie. It looks like a zombie. I'm going to turn it over. Now it kind of looks like a pirate. There's a few cards that are jumping at me, but we're going to start with this one. So the nine of Wands roar. And each of these cards have different characters, and some of them I wrote their names on them because I don't always like to read from the book, but I like to know their names. So this is interesting. So we have the 9 of Wands, and because other cards came out as well, I'm feeling like I want to see, I just want to make sure. Let me just put them back in the deck and see what happens, because sometimes, okay, which ones do we want? Which ones do we want? Do you want it this way? Okay. Sometimes they want to go back into the deck and it's not time yet. But gosh, this deck is... Okay, so listen, right out the gate, you need to release control of your romantic relationship. I feel like this kind of like 50s housewife keeping up with the Joneses. You want everything to be perfect. Maybe you were raised in that kind of energy, but it's not working for you. Like, I feel like Spirit's like, how's that working for you? Here's the next card that came out in reverse. So 2 reverse cards. That's very powerful. We'll get to that. So this one is the 3 of Wands. And look at, it fell on a fire before, so it got burned. Moxie. Interesting that we have 2 wands, so we may be dealing with fire signs. Even though I know that this is, or I should say, I'm almost positive that this card is a masculine card, the 9 of Wands. I'm getting, oh, there, hold on. There's that ant. I got to let him out. Hold on, you guys. Give me 1 second. Oops, hold on. Okay, thank you. That, speaking of patience, that ant showed up and they were so helpful in the second reading, and I promised I was going to set them free. This place has kind of become a prison while I've been trying. I'm living out in the country, and ever since my familiar passed, I was very blessed for 13 years not to have any pest or rodent problems. And so I'm kind of going through that. And the ants, it's not, you know, they're just doing their thing. But all of my carpets and drapes and stuff are like being in a war zone, because they're just like, they've got tons of essential oils and vinegar and like icky stuff to smell. But it's literally, I found so many dead ants, I feel kind of bad about it. But anyway, so I wanted to bring in another candle, not just because it's getting darker, but I kind of feel like we need to put a little light on the subject. Also, this shell just wanted to come in, and I feel like for some of you, either you're a water sign or you're somebody who really, really loves water. The ocean, rivers, lakes, whatever. And I'm getting a vibe that since this is, I explained this at the beginning of reading and I'll say it again. When I say masculine or feminine, that's whatever you align with your story, okay? That's just what I'm seeing. So this is very divine feminine represented, and this is divine masculine, but I definitely felt a feminine and a masculine from this card. So this, depending on your relationship and who you are, this could be a quote unquote man, woman, you know what I mean? Like it's just, it's whatever is going on in your universe. So that's why I'm trying to keep it, like it's not about the gender so much as like the energy that we're working with. And so, I'm getting a lot of divine feminine and masculine, but this one, the Moxie, it's interesting because all of these crystals and stuff around Moxie are really powerful, like the Shiva Lingam, the Tiger's Eye, clear quartz crystal, the pyrite. There's just like a lot of like I'm feeling like this kind of like growth and money. But then over here, I'm feeling a lot of like intuition and insight. You know, you guys, I was asking Spirit if this was a strictly romantic relationship, and they said yes, it was. But I'm kind of feeling right now for some of you, I feel like this could be you as well, though. You know, because romantic relationships with ourselves are just as, I mean, it's not just as important. It is the most important. And I spoke about this earlier, and I don't know if it was into, you know, the beginning or in one of the other readings, but, we spoke about this, you know, that we have that energy, like we all possess that energy. And, you know, it's more than okay to love yourself, pamper yourself, take care of yourself, make love to yourself. There is nothing wrong with laying naked in your bed and putting on romantic music and candles and maybe a sexy outfit or something to drink or a little smoky smoke or shrooms or whatever, you know, and just going into the ecstasy of your body and feeling your body and having orgasms and loving yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. When we are not in these avatars, everything exists in our consciousness. So when we're in these bodies, we have this great gift to do all these wonderful, fun things in these avatars, and sex is one of them. You know, I have had so many dreams where I have orgasms in my dreams. And I remember talking to some friends one time at a bar about it, and my friend was like, I can't even have an orgasm in real life and you're having them in your dreams. She's like, I hate you. And I was like, dude, I'm like, if you are not having orgasms, then you need to be working on that. You know, I'm like, you need to be working on that. And you touch yourself and make love to yourself until you have the most beautiful orgasm you've ever had. Because once you have one, you know, and we are all different. We all have different stimulation areas of our body. But there are some of us, you know, in certain bodies where it's like we can have orgasms without even touching somebody. It's that powerful. And there are some of us that can have orgasms inside our body, outside our body, inside and outside our body at the same time. And again, nothing wrong with it. It's awesome. It's wonderful. It's lovely. It's lovely. And I know sometimes after having the most beautiful, intense orgasm, I'll even like have a little giggle, like, like that's so awesome that our bodies can do that. You know, and it puts you on a high for a long time. You know, we've been talking about coming out of this past winter funk for our Northern Hemisphere family. It's like we're already like, we're only a month away from summer solstice. And I know a lot of people are still like kind of not feeling it. They're like, it's spring, it's nice out, but I'm just not feeling it. I'm like, it's okay. Force yourself to do things outside your comfort zone. And I promise it'll help wake up that energy, but it'll also bring back that like lighthearted warmth energy. You know what's so special right now, you guys? I don't want to mess up the reading because it's so pretty right now, but I just want you to know that outside is so magical right now. The lighting, you could probably see it in the video. I don't have a flash on. And yours is like the first reading that it's like this magical. And I feel like maybe we will get to some romantic. I'll see, we'll pull more cards, but I'm definitely feeling like this is more of a true bona fide divine romance with yourself. And I feel like readings 1 and readings 2 are kind of like exhibit A, exhibit B, because I feel like in our tribe, we're kind of in 3 different places. We're kind of like, we're either single and not in relationships at all. We are entangled in a relationship that is unhealthy for us. Most likely a narcissist empath relationship in this tribe. But if not, it's definitely like a light worker and a muggle, if that like helps it, for you to see like that more of like the Harry Potter, Hermione, you know what I mean? And like the muggle, you know what I mean, relationship. And that's why it's not a twin flame relationship and it doesn't feel right, because that's as far as it's going to go. And then there are some in our tribe that are in true bona fide twin flame relationships. And that does not put you in some fucking exclusive club. Let me tell you, it's not for the faint of heart and it's not easy. And, as much as I love my partner and I love my twin, as much as I love them and I wouldn't want to be with anyone else, at the same time, of course, I romanticize other relationships I was in that were much easier. Of course. Why wouldn't I? One of my relationships, it was like, one of our favorite things was like literally like to go out and like, drink and dance, go to karaoke, come home, have awesome sex, order Chinese food, get up, make pancakes, have sex again, smoke a joint, go for a walk, go shopping. It was like so awesome, but it wasn't like that's all it would be. We weren't like, it was a spiritual connection, but like not on the spiritual connection I have now that's pushing me to grow and be the better version of myself. So I feel like right now Spirit is trying to push us all to be the better versions of ourselves. And a lot of us, even if we're in relationships, we're either, in the middle of it and realizing like that we need to get out of it, or at the, end of it, or we're completely out of it. And I think that because we're all going through different things, that's why they don't want us to be too hard on ourselves or be too hard on, others. I'm going to see if they want, I'm going to ask 2 things. So, okay, that's one question. Okay. So drink some water. I kind of felt like there was another card, but I was like, I also felt like they wanted me to read from the book, but I just wanted to make sure that I'm doing it in the correct order, because sometimes, most of the time there's a reason for the order of it. Okay, so the 9 of Wands says, now these were both in reverse, so I'm going to read the reverse first. Fear of responsibility, obstacles, and surrender. Oh, that makes so much sense. So that's in the reverse, okay? And it says, a loyal and courageous lion, Roar, possesses the power to deal with whatever challenge comes his way. Despite his past wounds, Roar will see any quest through to its conclusion. Even in times of stress and opposition, you have the inner strength needed to guide you toward your goals. Setbacks can be defeated through sheer determination and willpower. Be patient while defending your beliefs and proceed carefully toward victory. The upright position energy keywords are determination, protection, patience, preparedness, and virtuousness. Is that a word? I guess it is. But first and foremost, it was fear of responsibility, obstacles, and surrender. Oh, so let's see what this one says, because I feel like they're going to tie in their energy. Okay, 3 of Wands. But interesting that we've got wands, they're fire, but also wands are about action. So I feel like they're saying like it's time to take action now. Like no more hiding, no more, you know what I mean? Like it's time to really step forward into the matrix. Oh, the reverse, speaking of matrix, a false start, cancellation of plans, ulterior motives, carelessness, and creative blocks. Moxie hovers in anticipation, bearing the desire to blaze a trail into uncharted territory. 3 little sunny companions patiently float around her as she formulates a clear plan of action before setting out. The perfect balance of your willpower and action will carry you forward with spiritual and intellectual harmony. Recognize all you have to offer as well as all that you need in return. Your creative flame will set things in motion, bringing you closer to your dreams. Remain confident with your ideas and stay focused on your intentions. I mean, because we were talking about twin flames, I don't think that's, I don't believe in accidents or coincidence or any of that. So, I kind of felt like keep on the course. This kind of took from reading 2. Reading 2, we spoke about twin flames, and that was the big part of the message was like staying on course and allowing like the other person to like figure their stuff out. And because I kind of feel like, even though this is like a cool outfit and all that, I kind of feel like this, like if I were going to be my Southside Chicago Kelly, I feel like I'd talk like this. Like, remember in Ghost where she's like trying to say it all nicey, and then finally she goes, you know what, I just have to say it my own way. And she's like, Molly, you in danger, girl. Like, that's how I feel. But I feel like what spirit, like the energy I got is like, this bitch is tore up. Like, right? Like, she needs to get her hair done. She's a mess. She's got a patch over her eye because she like was probably fucked up and like fell down and hurt herself. You know what I mean? And I feel like this up here is almost like I almost feel like this is like some type of Norse compass. And it's like she's fighting the battle, like she's trying to like figure it out. But she's just like, and bow-legged from like riding her horse too long to like get to her destination kind of thing. I don't know why, but that like totally just came in. And Moxie is like, as cute as she is, she also looks like a little like a crazy clown, like she doesn't know what to do with herself. So she's just like hiding behind masks, hiding behind makeup, hiding behind hair, hiding behind outfits, juggling a bunch of things, hanging around with a bunch of people. I love look at the cute little, I love this deck so much. Like literally this artist I would buy any of their artwork. I love whimsy art like this. I used to work in an art gallery, and there were certain, I think it was Bourget. I can't remember the name, but they did something similar to this kind of artwork. A Boulanger, the artist. But anyway, I feel like that little pumpkin head, the other readings, I felt like people were asking for like a timeline. And it was funny because the card that came up was tomfoolery, because Spirit was kind of like, only somebody who's controlling wants to know, like, okay, well, when are they going to be done though? Like, when are they going to be done? So, but this one feels more like, I feel like this is a lot of shit's going to come together by the end of October. Okay. I definitely felt like the pumpkin. It felt like a pumpkin head. It felt like Jack Skellington. It felt like, Samhain. So whenever you watch this, they're always timeless, but in real time, today is May 18th, 2025. So I feel like by the time that rolls around, like by the time October rolls around, a lot of things are going to make a lot more sense. But you just got to keep going. Just every day, minute by minute, day by day, just keep going on. Just keep on keeping on. Okay, this one. Oh, sad clown. Speaking of clown. Oh man, this card always fucking hurts my heart. Chagrin, 3 of Swords. So, I feel like some of you have trust issues from a heartbreak. I feel like somebody cheated on you. I'm sorry. I know what that feels like, man. I really do. It fucking sucks. But you always have to remember something, especially because I was told this by the person that, cheated on me, when they were going through therapy. They're like, they kind of cried to me, and they're like, you realize it has nothing to do with you. Like, it's me. I'm the problem. Like, you're beautiful. I love you. They're like, there's nothing wrong with you or sex or anything. They're like, it's me. So I also feel like for some of you, the third party that is the heartbreak is like the energy block that's in between you right now. You know what I'm saying? It's like there's like you and them, and then there's like the energy in between. Like probably because they're stuck in the third dimensional energy and you're in the fifth dimensional energy. And, you know, like that other sword is like kind of like the representation of like the fourth dimension, you know, like where you're kind of straddling between worlds. And it's really confusing right now. So this is a really difficult time to date or to meet anybody. So I'm not saying that you shouldn't, but if you do, just be really mindful of like who you're talking to, who you're meeting. Also, they just had me look at the bottom of the deck, and this is what was there. So the Queen of Wands, I feel like this is for somebody. Here's another Wands card. Also, sword is an air energy, so you could be dealing with an air energy, which is Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. But look at that. And also, okay, so did you see how my thumb just wants to pull this one out? So we'll look at that in a minute. But did you also notice that the Queen of Wands has like a fall energy around her? So there's definitely something about that. And her name is Zest. So we've got Moxie and Zest. So I feel like if you plant the seeds now and you keep watering them, you keep whatever it is that you love. Sorry, I have the worst chewing habit of my nails. I'm working on it. It seems like whenever I'm trying to get rid of something or stop something is when it's like I'll get crazy about it until like I just stop. Lately, I've been having to put like essential oils like on my fingers, like that bad. Like a little kid, you know, when your mom like puts like, you know, gross things on your hands so you don't chew your hands. Anyway, I digress. So, I definitely feel like this is Spirit saying it's time for you to work on you, plant the seeds of love to yourself. Look at that. She's got a wand with love on it and wings. A lot of magical things are going to be happening towards the end of this year. Right now, it just looks really scary. You know, why do you think that this administration and the American administration, why they came out that way? They're like, fear, 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 change, 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 change. Like they wanted to come in and shake things up. They're saying, oh yeah, look at us, look at what we're doing. We're promoting change. I'm like, no, they're promoting confusion, because that is the art and the mastery of war. The best way to fucking disrupt and like win the battle is to fucking confuse everybody. So they don't know where to go. They don't know what to defend. They don't know what to look at. So right now, you keep your eye on the prize. You keep your eye on that, because this other card just came in and it was upside down. And look at that. It's the Empress, number 3. Blossom. So see, you've got Moxie, Zest. I mean, they're like, work on you, focus on you. May your, like I said, this is a love relationship. So if you chose 3, your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to start dating yourself. Love yourself. Do all the things that you wish somebody would do for you. You want somebody to send you flowers? Send yourself flowers. And if you know, someone's like, oh, you got flowers? Be like, yeah. They're like, who'd you get flowers from? Me. I send them to myself. I wanted to have some beautiful flowers. Or just go buy yourself flowers. You know what I mean? But like things like that. You want to go see a movie? Take yourself to a movie. You want to go out for dinner? Take yourself to dinner. You want to go for a walk in the park? Go for a walk in the park. Also, this has a very strong like Kali Ma vibe, you know, with the skulls there, the Empress. So I feel like it's time for you to gain your power back. And the best way to do that is to like, don't concern yourself with this negative energy back there, because that's kind of what it is. I mean, the 3 of Swords is it's a broken heart, man. It's just a fucking broken heart. There's like no easy way to say it. It's just that's the energy that I'm feeling. Just hardcore, just sadness, broken heart. So I feel like Spirit's like, no, focus on, take this out and focus on this, the magic. And you know, it's okay, you know, until you get to where you need to be, you know, you do what you got to do. This isn't about judgment. This isn't about, you know, saying, oh, you're this or you're that. It's the opposite. It's like Spirit's trying to show you, like, this is how magical you are. This is how utterly, I am going to read from the book because I love the Queen of Wands from this book. So I'm going to read it because you deserve it. I love you, reading 3. Love yourself. Seriously, once you start falling in love with yourself and making love to yourself. I mean, I remember I had gotten to a point where like if I was going out with my friends or whatever, I'm like, oh, I gotta go, and they're like, oh, you got a hot date? I'm like, yeah. The hot date was me. The hot date was me. I would go home, I would put on music, I would get everything all set up. And because I was like, I used to literally joke to my friends and say I am the master baiter, meaning like I was like, my one friend was like, how many orgasms? Like, what's the most you've ever had in one go? I'm like, I don't even know. And she's like, what do you mean you don't know? And I'm like, I don't really know. I'm like, sometimes I'm like, if it's a good night and I'm having a good time, I'm like, I don't know, 10, 14, 15. She's like, what? She's like, how? I'm like, because my body's awesome, because my body's a wonderland, you know what I mean? And I was like, yeah, and that wasn't even with a vibrator. I actually really, I would say, if you love it, bless you. But I just, for me personally, like my hands are amazing. I'm like, my hands can do so many things. I'm like, I would much rather make love to myself with my own hands than something. Plus, I didn't like the energy and the sound of a vibrator. That's just me personally. But or dildos, none of that. It just wasn't for me. But if you love toys, good for you. Get toys, have fun. Get your freak on, whatever works for you. But it is really important. And I'm telling you, it's like the endorphins that you get are just so amazing. Like the next day, I'm like, I'm ready to take on the world. So, every once in a while, Spirit has me do these kind of readings. And I'm so grateful when they do, because for a long time, I carried a lot of shame around enjoying and pleasuring myself. And, it wasn't until I got older and started working, with older women and, especially with the Crohn's, when I was working with the spiritual side of it, they're like, there's nothing more spiritual than an orgasm. That is your direct connection to God, goddess energy, like the creator, like that. They're like, they gave us, we all have the capacity. So like, they're like, it's a unit, like, why do we have it? To be shamed by it? They're like, that only like a biblical text would like, or some, man-made, religious text would tell us that it's horrible. Or like in certain countries where they cut off a woman's clit, like who the fuck, like that makes me want to get violent. I'm not a violent person. That like makes me seriously want to be like, who do you think you are to mutilate a beautiful goddess? Like that, and like that is, her body was given to her by God, goddess, like creator, like whatever you believe in. And so I really feel like this reading 3, like I said, I wasn't sure. Like I said, is it going to be just romantic? And they were like, yeah. But I feel like that's what they're trying to say too for reading 3. Like there is no greater love. There is no greater romance than the one with ourselves. So it's time to take your power back, and work with the energy of the goddess. Work with Kali Ma, to fight the energies of the darkness and the shadow that, told you that you should feel shame around touching yourself, and men too, because we have a lot of like quote unquote men on here. And when I say that, I mean like, whatever you identify with, but those who have a penis and, because I've known, individuals that have a penis where they're like, I'm one and done, man. Like, that's it. Like, that's why they want to prolong it. They want to do all these other different things, because once they're done. And they don't, especially if you have like the most intense, beautiful orgasm and it's like, oh, don't touch me. You know what I mean? You're like, you just want to stay in that euphoric state for a minute, I had somebody like that where they were just like, I'd be like, I felt like kind of a brat sometimes, because I'd be like, in my mind, I'm like, how long do I have to lay here? I'm like, are you done? But you don't want to be like, and they're just enjoying, they just want to lay there for a minute. They don't want to do anything else. They just want to stay right there. I'm like, okay, all right, but it's individual and it's important and it's special. And there is nothing wrong with loving yourself. So do we want to pull any more cards? No, we're going to read the Queen of Wands. That's right. Okay. So, okay, it's getting dark now. I don't know if I'll be able to read the book. I may have to go get my thing. The Queen of Wands, nurture, motivation, inspiration, balance, and happiness. Queen Zest, the Queen of Wands, bears the courageous heart of a lioness, radiating health and vitality. She showers her garden with love and the sunlit warmth of her very spirit. Believe in yourself. Commit to challenges with confidence. Thoughtfulness toward details will help you create the best outcome to ensure lasting success. By sharing your vision, you're helping to create a better world for all. And in reverse, it says short-tempered, manipulation, and egocentrism. So if that could be the shadow side of that, like they're just saying, like kind of sending you like a little, not a warning, but just like to keep that in mind when you're working on it, to just keep it all positive. When you're putting your manifestations out there, when you're saying your affirmations of love and hope and all that stuff, because the whole point is we want you to plant this garden so that, you know, look at, once you plant the seeds, look at all of these beautiful flowers at the feet of the Empress. It's like the Queen of Wands becomes the Empress, the warrior, and her name is Blossom. And I'm going to try. I had a really hard time reading that one, so let me see. I can get up and get my flashlight, though, if I need to. You know, I live off grid. Although I do have a little bit of electricity, and I was thinking the other day, I need to just get a lamp so I can do stuff like this. Or just get batteries for my other flashlight. Okay, so the Empress, abundance, nurture, another nurture card, another creativity, beauty, growth. It says, let me see if I can get in the light here. Containing the life force that gives birth to all creation, the Empress Blossom wears a nest of eggs on her head. They're ready to hatch and partake in the nurturing comfort she offers. Skulls decorating her dress exemplify transformation and rebirth. Blossom is a beacon of delight and opulence. Her dress of lush green leaves, what does this say? Her dress of lush green leaves pulsates with promises of bounty and vitality. Open your heart, enjoy life, and allow your creative impulses to take effect and reveal your innate abilities. Be assured that by nurturing your ideas, you can clear a path for positive energies and bring forth beautiful things. But when she's in shadow, her creativity is blocked. She's overprotective and lack of harmony. So keep your eye on the prize and look at the heart, the big heart on her shield. Also, the Ankh is there. We've got this kind of like death rattle. It's almost like, you know, and she looks like she's standing on a crescent moon as well. And the number 3, it's interesting because we had the 3 of swords. So 3 could be significant for you too. It could be like there's 3 people in your life. Wait, was the 3 of swords? Yeah, that was this one. I was like, wait, was that this one or that one? So it could, I mean, the fact that it came up twice, I feel like is important. Also, we had the 9 of Wands, and it's like, you know, 3, 6, 9, like those numbers are really vital. And 9 means like you're almost there. So it's kind of funny because they spoke of the lioness in that card and then this one. And I kind of feel like, yeah, like this is now become this. But it's going to take practice and it's going to take commitment and determination. You know, because in loving yourself, you are going to find that love that you so deserve. And that's looking for you too. And also, if you're in a relationship that you're trying to hold on to, always remember this, that the selfishness part of it that they spoke of is by staying in a relationship like that, you're holding the other person back from their future and your own. So you're not just being selfish with yourself, but you're also being selfish with them. Like you need to let them go and live the life that they need to live and have the experiences that they need to have. You know, you can't make them go any faster than they're meant to go. You need to let them go at the pace that they need to go at. So for now, just date yourself, love yourself, have fun with yourself. I bought bleach and I bought hair color and I didn't even like really dawn on me until the other day because I was like, should I color my hair today? And then I thought, oh my gosh, if I had colored my hair that day, it was 10 years ago to that day that I had bleached my hair because I'd been a redhead for 6 years and I decided I wanted to go back to being blonde. And when I met my husband now, my hair looked like a carrot. When he wanted to meet, I kept putting it off and he was like, are you catfishing me? Because we met each other through, you know, Craigslist, but it wasn't like a, you know, a picture. He had a picture of the tree of life and the Ouroboros. And so we didn't know what each other looked like for a while. We emailed each other. We met on a Saturday night a year ago or 10 years ago. And through, you know, there we were emailing each other all night, but then we started texting each other like 10 years ago today on Sunday. And then I finally told him, I said, I don't want you to see me. And he goes, why? And I go, because I've been a redhead. And I sent him pictures and he goes, oh, he's like, you're a redhead. That's hot. And I said, yeah, that's the thing though. I'm like, I'm literally in the process of going back blonde and it's taking a really long time. So I've had to do 2 bleach processes and I look like a carrot. I said, my hair is literally orange. It was like a pale orange, but like, I look like a creamsicle. And he's like, well, I don't care. And I'm like, well, I do. I don't want you to meet me like that. But then by the time, you know, we were done texting all day Sunday and then Sunday night, he's like, I don't care. I really want to meet you in person. So when we first met, I had just bleached my hair and I thought, oh my gosh, wouldn't that have been crazy? And I thought that's so funny because I was going through a transformation when I met him and I'm going through a transformation now. And I almost wanted to bleach my hair because I'm like in like some weird fantasy. I'm like, oh, maybe if I do this, like, you know, that'll bring us back. Just all these like weird things. I found my wedding ring, which I lost like a year ago in the house and I couldn't find it. And I just was like, it'll show up eventually. And then I started to get more sad because I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like, maybe it's because I lost my ring. And then Saturday, I found my ring and I'm like, oh my God, 10 years ago, we met today. And I was like, for the first time, and I was like, and I found my wedding ring. So I was like, that's got to be a good sign, you know. It was really interesting. But I am excited, and when it's time, I'll do it. But I feel like I'm not ready. I feel like I'll know when it's time and I'll just do it. But I encourage you to do the same. You know, do something that you wouldn't normally do. Start dressing, you know, start small. Go, you know, maybe it's your shoes. Maybe you're like, I just don't feel like I'm myself, you know, like maybe you need a new pair of shoes. Maybe you need a whole new wardrobe. Maybe you need a makeover, you know, maybe you need a haircut, whatever it is. But I always say, don't do anything too drastic that you don't want to commit to, you know. But maybe you do need to do something special for yourself to give you, you know, the nudge you need to push you forward. I wasn't sure if we were going to grab a card. This was the next one on the other one. And look at you heard me shuffling. It just came out, but it's in reverse and it's the Knight of Wands, but it's in reverse. So I also feel like for some of you, because they had me hold it this way, I almost feel like this is like someone chasing you. Blaze is their name. Interesting though, because Knight of Wands, you know, wands are fire signs and Blaze, you know. I want to see what they have to say. Because I do feel like for some of you, there is like a romantic message. Because I kind of feel like this reading's for all of us in a way, you know. Because of, sorry, I'm going to have to steal this candle so I can read this. Here we go. Wow, it's like the sun was going down and then it just went down. It's like it's gone. I'm like, I can't read anything. I can't see anything. Oh, wait. Hold on. Silly goose. I heard, put that on. My old phone that I had for like so long, like 7 years, you couldn't do that. You either had to start it with the flash on or that was it. You couldn't do it. And I remember when I started using this, I was like, oh, yay, what a great feature. Okay, we can read it together. Okay, cool. So let's go to the Knight of Wands. Here we go. And it was in reverse, so we're going to read the reverse first. So it says, losing interest, exaggerating accomplishments, and foolhardiness. That's in the reverse. And the upright, it says energy, daring, passion, courage, and supportiveness. Sprinting through the countryside with a flurry of energy, the dynamic Knight of Wands Blaze is always in a state of motion and change. His fearless drive and ideas will lead him to success. Step into the light of your own strength and move forward with confidence. Take advantage of new opportunities and give it your all. A new direction will reveal itself. Because I kind of felt like at first, this felt like a man like running towards you, like, or a divine masculine, because this could be anything, because look, they've got bows, you know what I mean, this could really be, wow, you can really see now with the light on, you can really see them. It's almost like it doesn't want to come into focus. I keep hitting my camera. There we go. But maybe what they're trying to say is that for some of you, you've been too much in the divine feminine, meaning like, oh, that's okay. And just like letting things go and being more, and like the yang or the yin energy of like the nurturing, right? But like you need the yang energy of getting that fire under your ass to do it. So maybe for some of you, this is, I just saw the mushroom. So maybe for some of you, like, microdosing mushrooms has become like a really big thing now. They're using it for therapy. It really helps a lot of people. So maybe that's just for one person, but I'm hearing like it's good. And if you have been microdosing, maybe up it just a little bit. Maybe when you're not going to be around people, when you want to be more creative or, whatever. Because I feel like for some of you, I feel like you're trying to control something. Also, they want me to take a screenshot, so I'm going to do that. I feel like there's like some controlling thing going on with that. And so they're like, let your divine masculine run free because you need that yang energy, right? Like, so when they were talking about the ego, that's where it's the slippery slope and the fine line with the ego, because we need the ego to survive, right? But we don't want to like lead by our ego. So see, Blaze is led by his drive, not by his ego. And that's what they're saying, to lead by that. And also I heard to lead by example. Lead by example. That's really powerful. Okay, do we have any more messages? I think that was it. I kind of felt like that was it, but I always check in. I always check in because even if my gut tells me one thing, sometimes I might get a little inkling, and it could be from you guys that are like, oh, I didn't get my message or I didn't get my answer. And they're like, you did, but you just have to sit back and think about what was said, All right, do we have any more messages for reading 3 before we wrap it up? Nope. Those are your messages. Oh my gosh, we love you so much. Love yourself. I say that a lot at the end of these readings. I say, love yourself first so that you can love others. But, love yourself, love each other, and take good care of yourself and take good care of others. But it has to start with you. It's not selfish. Self-care is not selfish, right? It's the oxygen mask theory. You cannot help others. You cannot plant your seeds. You cannot do the things you want to do, right? Like, this isn't how you would naturally do it, right? It would be more like this. Like, you have to plant the seeds first, and then they'll go into action, and then, they'll blossom, right? Blossom is at the end here. But you have to plant the seeds first. You have to let them grow. And for some of you, I heard the timeline, it might be 1 year to 2 years. I've gotten this for a long time from Spirit that 2026 was going to be the bang out year. So I don't know what's going to happen between now and then. But we're in 2025 right now. So that could be like at the end of this year, 2026, you know what I mean? Like, because think about this. I had a little bit of a mind fuck last night because I was like, holy shitballs. Like, it's literally May 18th. I feel like I blinked and like it was like Christmas, Baba died, and now it's spring. Now it's like almost summer. You know what I mean? Like, so much has happened. It's just been, so I don't know about you guys too, but it's like, in one way, so much has happened, but another way, it's like it went by in a blink of an eye. So it's crazy to think that we're already almost halfway through 2025. So by the end of 2026, which is 1.5 years from now, a little over and some change, we're going to see such big changes. And I don't know what's going to happen or what, like, I don't like to put that kind of prediction out there because I can only tell you what I think and feel. And, it's very personal for everybody, but allow yourself time to grow. It's going to come faster than you think. A lot of light workers right now are in the, kid at the Christmas morning. They're just like, they just want to wake up and tear through the presents but when it's over, it's over. Instead of opening one present at a time, enjoying it and appreciating it, and then moving on to the next one, it's like they're ripping through and tearing through and see what else they got. What else did I get? What else did I get? Spirit's like, just wait a minute. Let one thing come to you, digest that, then let another thing. And before you know it, you're going to be you're just going to be in abundance in so many areas, but you've got to take the first step, the first leap, plant the seeds. Put in your mind that, like, envision that it's going to grow. Envision that your life is going. Envision what you want your life to be. And if you want to be with someone, you can envision them, but remember that you don't want to take away someone's free will. So when you're envisioning like your future with someone, if you can, try not to pinpoint so much the actual person and their name so much, is like the energy that you want to be the best version of yourself, so that they will be that energy too, so that you can align together at the same time. We're here to love and support each other in romantic relationships, of course, but it can't be this like really like the scales tipping one way and the scales tipping the other way, and this kind of, life is a roller coaster, yes, and we're going to have our ups and downs, of course, but these extremes of one to the other. And last year when I told my partner, I'm like, we need to take a break. I was like, that was what was really driving me nuts. I couldn't take the extremes anymore. I was like, you're just like from one to the other. And I remember when I was going through a lot of my stuff throughout my life, all like many years, I would hear that from people. You're so ungrounded. You're so, gosh, your highs are so high, your lows are so low. And then everyone's like, oh, you're bipolar. That's what it is. And I was on all these different medications trying to figure things out. And I realized, no, I was just in the wrong places with the wrong people in the wrong environment, drinking alcohol, which is like basically poison to my system, like doing all these things that actually were not working for me. They weren't right for me. The environment, everything makes a difference. What you eat, what you drink, what you're surrounded by, all of that makes a major difference. And for some reason, I feel like this wants to talk to you. It's been coming through. So I don't know, maybe some of you communicate through crystals. I feel like we must have some crystal warriors here, because I feel like this crystal is like really wanting to talk to you. And it's an amethyst. This is one of my favorite crystals I've ever been blessed to partner with. I have it on good authority from one of our tribe members that she's going to be sending some new crystals for us to work with. So I'm really excited about that. That's going to be coming soon, sometime, I think in end of May, June, I believe. They're leaving at the end of May, but I don't know when the box will get here. So, anyway, so that's for somebody. Look at that. Oh, that's for somebody. And you're not alone. You're not alone. We've been talking about the Sacred Sunday, the episode 2 today. We spoke about our community and coming together. That's why Spirit had me do Sacred Sunday. So if you aren't familiar with it, we're going to be live every Sunday until Spirit tells me not to, at noon Pacific Standard Time. I live on the West Coast of the United States, so we're going to be working with Spirit every Sunday for a while, I have a feeling. The last time we did this, we did 10 weeks. So, I don't know, this could be a permanent thing or it might be temporary, but I definitely, because I was like, why would you have me do this like at summertime? You know what I mean? Where it's like hard enough for people to, Sunday, but Sunday at noon. And that's because we have so many people in this tribe from all over the world. When we did our first Sacred Sunday, we literally had 3 readings that came through from India, Denmark, and the United States in Mississippi. So that's so powerful to me. We are definitely changing the world and we are growing in numbers, but we have got to keep ourselves focused and keep our eye on the prize. The divine feminine, we've got to keep that love and that light up, 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 that vibration. We got to keep that vibration floating, up, 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 up. Whatever you need to do to keep yourself in a high vibration, do it. And whatever you need to do to protect your energy from those who want to steal it or squash it, do it. Do it. Oh, look at this one wants to talk to you too. You guys must have like crystal stuff going on. Look at this. I haven't seen the Labradorite go in this color. See that really dark blue? I haven't seen it have you guys been noticing like your crystals and things look different? There's a lot of cool shit happening on the planet right now. So, all right, you guys. So those are your messages. Thank you so much for being here today. And I know sometimes you guys like to watch all of them, but these were very specific. So I hope that you didn't, I always say to people, don't read too much into things. Don't make somebody else's story your story. This is really important. But this one, I really hope that people at least see this one, because I really feel like we all needed this message from reading 3 today. So if you'd like to work with me, or if you'd like to make any contributions to the work that's on this channel, there are links provided in the description box and all over my channel for you to do that. I appreciate you. I love you. It is never, ever required. It is always just a beautiful, exciting blessing when it comes my way. And prayers work too. In fact, I got to rewrite my little thing to say, prayers work just as well. But if you'd like to go more in depth into your story or need need more guidance, reach out to me. You can email me and we can set up some work, or you can do a recorded reading, which is actually half the price of the work that I do on the one-on-ones. Okay. All right, you guys, until next time, I love you so much. I'll see you next time. Blessed be. Oh.